So out of nowhere, Bethesda just dropped some new information on Starfield in the form of 3 new videos about 3 of the new locations that we'll be able to visit in their upcoming first-person RPG game, Starfield. You'll be delighted to hear that each one of these locations are vastly different from one another. And just hearing about them has got me a lot more excited for Starfield than I was before. Because with it, we can start to piece together a story of conflicting factions and space pirates roaming the galaxy. And trust me, this is going to be the first of many tiny bits of information that we get leading up to launch. So make sure you subscribe to stay up to date. But if you didn't know, Starfield is set 300 years forward in our own future. And until now, the only things we really know about Starfield is what we saw in their developer diary and the teaser trailer released back in July at Bethesda's E3 conference, which also told us the release date, which is November the 11th, 2022. But now we have 3 new videos that were sent out to everybody who signed up to the Constellation program. Let's take a look at the first video location and then break it down. This video is titled Starfield Location Insights, Developer Commentary, New Atlantis.
Hi, I'm Emil Pagliarulo, Design Director of Bethesda Game Studios. What you're looking at here is the spaceport of the city of New Atlantis, the capital city of the United Colonies, or UC, the most powerful, established military and political faction in the game. The city is a true melting pot, and its residents come from every race, creed, and ethnicity. In a lot of ways, New Atlantis is a true reflection of the future of our world.
So now we know for sure that this is the concept art for New Atlantis. And we also know it's the capital city of the United Colonies. Emil also tells us that the United Colonies is the most powerful faction in the entire game, in both a military and a political sense. That's important for later on in the video. Kind of think of them as the Empire in the Elder Scrolls series, or even the Institute. We don't know how far their power will extend across the galaxy. It sounds like this faction is going to have the most order and power in their own star system, but how far does that reach extend? Well, bear with me. In the Starfield developer trailer, we actually get a look at Emil's screen, which is conveniently shown again before this trailer. Now, Emil's screen actually has an in-game message on it that you can zoom in on in 4K, and you can actually see that he's drafting a message that's going to be in the game. And this message he's drafting is from the UC, an abbreviation of United Colonies. And the story continues with the next video, so let's take a look at that.
Behold Aquila City, the capital of the Freestar Collective, a loose confederation of 3 distinct star systems. The city itself is home to a variety of people, but they all have one thing in common. They believe in the sanctity of personal freedom and individuality. Aquila City is walled for a reason, and stepping outside those walls means facing the deadly Ashta, alien predators that are a cross between a wolf and a velociraptor.
So the Freestar Collective were mentioned in Emil's letter, which gives us more details on the current situation around Aquila. Let's take a read. Pirates of the Crimson Fleet have extended far beyond the Cry system and have established footholds in Sagan, Cheyenne, Lunara, and Narlon systems. Both Sidef and Vanguard are committed to riddling United Colonies' space of these parasites. This is clearly no longer just a Freestar Collective problem. Also, be advised that the Crimson Fleet is not a single organized entity or faction. Rather, it is a loose confederation of individual captains, all organized under the same banner. Shown here is the symbol of Jolly Roger that they've adopted, which would be like the skull and crossbones, typically used by pirates. Anyone displaying that symbol is assumed to be associated with the Crimson Fleet and can be terminated at will. Any questions should be addressed to Lieutenant John Tuala at mast for the Vanguard and Commander Kibwe aboard the UC Vigilance System Defense. So it seems like the Crimson Fleet space pirates have actually fled the United Colonies and now reside within the Free Star Collective star system. And since the Free Star Collective believe in personal freedom, they might actually be okay with the pirates being there as long as they're not attacking anyone in that territory. Perhaps the pirates are even using these named systems like Sagan, Cheyenne, Lunara and Narlon as a safe haven from the United Colonies so they can harass passing United Colony vessels as they pass. And this letter seems to be trying to encourage the Free Star Collective to start acting against the Crimson Fleet pirates that reside in their own territory. Clearly there's going to be a whole narrative storyline around this pirate faction. In that sense, it's kind of like if you commit a crime in Skyrim in one of the holds, like in Whiterun, and then you go to Markath, you'll no longer have a bounty in that other city because it's in a different hold, controlled and policed by a different organization. So there's a really interesting sort of idea here with the space pirates sort of escaping the UN territory, but still constantly harassing them that I just love. And I hope there's some kind of narrative storyline here where you'll be able to even become a member of the Crimson Fleet, fly your own pirate banner, or even wipe them out if you want to take that extreme approach. Not only do we have that storyline, but we've also got these two narratives between these very different factions. The Free Star Collective that are all about freedom and seem to welcome anyone, pirate or not, into their territories freely. And then the United Colonies, who are very militant and policed, organized as an establishment. But also in that second video, Emil mentions that outside the safety of the city walls of the Aquila settlement are deadly Austra-alien predators that are a cross between wolves and velociraptors. I mean, dude, that sounds insanely terrifying, and I cannot wait to see that. Like, the idea of wolves and raptors really gives me this idea of pack animals that are extremely quick across this desert mountainous terrain, and you do not want to be walking around in that area because they will just track you down and hunt you ferociously. So you're probably going to need some kind of like land speeder or method of transport, and obviously all the Star Wars transportation vehicles spring to mind, and it gets me excited. It really starts to paint this image of what this world's doing, what these factions are, and how they conflict with one another. And talking about those factions brings me on to the third video, because we have a faction battling for freedom with the Free Star Collective. The United Colonies are all for order. But this third faction is kind of like a wild card. A city of ecstasy with neon.
What you're looking at here is the pleasure city of Neon. The Xenofresh Corporation built a giant fishing platform on a rather nondescript aquatic world. They wanted to catch fish until they discovered a fish with psychotropic properties. They could make way more money selling a drug than they could fish. That drug is Aurora and is legal only on Neon. People come from all over to experience it and everything else Neon has to offer.
Now, if you don't know what a fish with psychotropic properties means, it'd basically be that the fish they found and they were catching out of the ocean could be used to create a drug called Aurora that affects people's mental stasis. And this drug, being only illegal within the city of Neon, definitely gets me excited about the idea of like, wow, can we as the player, can we like smuggle some of this drug out to other cities? That would probably be worth a lot of money, right? Like in real life. I would be very disappointed if there are not some kind of like repeatable drug smuggling quests that I can do as a member of the Crimson Fleet. I mean, I'm turning out to be quite a dark space cadet here. I'm not so sure I should be in this constellation program. But the city of Neon sounds like Las Vegas. It's just in the middle of nowhere, and it's completely sprung up and turned into this very wealthy city where everyone's on a legal high, like Skooma from Skyrim or Chems from Fallout. Obviously, the Starfield equivalent is Aurora, and what would a Bethesda game be without some wacky drugs that you can take to enhance your character in one form or another? It will be really cool if You actually get policed when you go into a city like New Atlantis, and you can't take any of your Aura in with you. I mean, I'd love to see little details like that, but I don't know how far it will go. So far, we've heard about 3 very different cities, though, that exist in the Starfield universe. We've also heard about 2 powerhouse factions with very different views to one another. And that gets me genuinely excited. A lot more than the initial trailer did. Like, I can see the concept art now and start to build a story about what this game is actually about, because so far we've really had nothing to go on as a community. So I'm excited to make more of these videos for you guys as we delve deeper into this lore series that Bethesda are slowly releasing. We've actually seen a lot more concept art in the developer trailer, but no one's actually spoken about it yet. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear more about that in the coming months as release draws closer, or even leading up to Bethesda's next E3 in 2022, when we'll probably get to see some gameplay ahead of launch. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell icon if you want to stay up to date with this series on Starfield, because I'm getting more and more excited about it the more I hear about it. I really need this kind of information to get into a game, so I'm glad Bethesda are taking this approach with their PR. It's really cool to see. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.